Good evening everyone and welcome to Esports Mini League 1. We are here tonight for rounds 3 and 4 of the Mini League, and we take in both Britain and Mexico. First of all, it's Britain for round 3 of the championship, and then for round 4 we go to Mexico, the final round of the championship there. Now, I promised I wouldn't be here last night. I'm here. Myself, James Head, going to be taking you through the action. Alongside me in the commentary box, as always for these Mini League 1s, it is Aidan Carter. Aidan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm really doing well, and I'd just like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to Maze for giving me this opportunity and filling in for Kieran. As you might be aware, he is not here. And keeping his seat warm for the next Mini League. Obviously, we've got the action coming on out on track. ILRT from last week are 40 points clear of KVR in the standings. ILRT, in theory, should run away with it. How do you think they're going to get out on track tonight?
I think it might be more of the same, to be honest, because as a team as a whole, ILRT were a pretty dominant force last time out, so I can't imagine really anything different happening. But the fight for second at the moment between the other teams is incredibly tight. I think it's 14 points covering the next 4 teams, so any one of those can come out in second. It's going to be interesting to see which one of those comes out on top in second, and whether anyone can catch ILRT at this point. God, I tend to say it on a Wednesday night, can't you? I can't get more words out.
Well, Inside Line Racing Team are leading on 124 points, and as I say, it is a 40-point gap, but the gap, as you say, 14 points separating second down to the bottom in 5th. Clean Vigor currently in second on 84 points. Livid in third on 81. Now, I thought they would be second, to be honest. TTG Esports main team in 4th on 74, and PMP Esports in 5th on 70. It's really close. I can't believe how close it is.
Yeah, it is incredibly close, and just watching the racing last time out, all the teams were very evenly matched. I think ILRT were just more consistent. I definitely noticed in last week's racing that TTG were not necessarily very competitive in Australia, but were much more competitive in Spain, and then it was the opposite way around for other teams like LR. So it's going to be interesting to see who can keep that consistency through these 2 races.
Yeah, obviously, let's have a look then at the drivers that are going on here tonight, and the ones that are in the lobby, of course. ILRT represented. I did see his name by ILRT Louis. I'm just going to run down through the lobby so you can really see on who's here. ILRT Thomas, ILRT Yanel, ILRT Louis, and one mystery driver that will join, I think, for ILRT. Hopefully they will be up to a full complement of 4 drivers. I have a feeling it could be Rafa. I have a feeling, but that's just my gut instinct on that. KVR represented in the blue car, obviously. Very familiar coloured car to pick out on, and you'll probably know which team is which by looking at them as well. KVR are represented by Cohen, Campbell, Verstappen, and looking through the other driver. Has KVR got a 4th driver? Yes, they have. You drop Ye in the KVR team as well. TTG Esports represented by Vaporon, Toxic, winner of TTL F2 last night, Navy, and looking down, is there another driver in here for TTG? I can't see. Am I blind as a bat? I don't know who I think TTG might be missing another driver. I'm not sure. Can you pick up on who that is?
Just trying to double check actually who the TTG driver is, to be honest. Just having a look actually.
Carlsbury. It's Carlsbury.
There we go.
Just having a look at my sheet on the right-hand side. Goodness me. You can tell how unprepared I am for this, being stepped into the breach quite late on. Carlsbury is the other representative of the esports team, and thank you if somebody has picked that up before me in the comment section. Livid Racing are represented further down. Let's have a look at who they're represented by. Calzo, the Scotsman. Ghost, who is part of League of Europe Formula 2. LR Hugo and Deneen, the Irishman, the prolific Irishman actually, and I've commented on him plenty of times before, like most of these guys as well. And PMP represented by Terror Racer, Geordie, another Scotsman out on track. We've got quite a few of them tonight. Ginger, and looking through Kaz Crazy, I'm just going to call him. My pronunciation might be quite bad at that. Kazuri? Crazy?
We just called him Kaz last week. We're going to stick with Kaz, I think.
We'll call him Kaz. You can tell that pronunciation isn't really our strong point, I think, within the commentary box. But looking at that driver lineup, honestly, what's your expectation coming into tonight? We should get some good racing.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're on for some really good racing. By the looks of it, everyone's readying up, so I believe we will be down an ILRT member by the looks of things, which is a bit of a shock considering that they're in the lead. I'd be shocked that they wouldn't want another member in the lobby to try and help them build that lead, and that's a good opportunity for the other teams to try and catch back up now that they're one team down.
They are one team member down, but I think the consistency of the ILRT team, normally they're right up towards the top end of the grid anyways with their drivers. I think it will get them through to win Mini League 1 here tonight, but you never know.
Curse.
Yeah, commentator's curse. Knowing that I've said that, touch wood it doesn't happen. But the ILRT team, I've commentated on ILRT Louis, who's been in tremendous form in League of Europe. Thomas as well, who's been in tremendous form in TTL F1, and you might have seen him racing last Thursday. And ILRT Janel, who I'm not that familiar with, but again, he's another pacey driver. And I just think ILRT just might have that advantage with those three drivers. No disrespect to the other teams whatsoever. I just think they might be that type consistent. And isn't that a sight you like to see? Blue skies in Britain? You must be kidding. It's spring.
Unrealistic. Unbelievably unrealistic this is, isn't it?
Unbelievably unrealistic. I've got to be honest and say I haven't been that happy to see blue skies, but my God, it's blue skies. It's Silverstone. This should be quite good. I'm going to push it. What I normally do with these mini leagues is push for top three. Who's your top three out of the drivers tonight?
Out of the drivers tonight, I think qualifying-wise, I think we've got to go for Louis on pole. He's just such a dominant force. I wouldn't be surprised if he's up at the front. I think alongside Louis, that's a difficult one. I think Thomas showed really good pace, so I think he may come home second in qualifying today. Third, I'm going to go for Faber on third.
Through turn one, through Abbey, and then into farm, and he's right up there with the QVR guys currently out on track as we now filter through the loop into village and then in towards entry at turn 5. And yes, I do know my way around this track completely. Cohen running down the Wellington Straight, where of course the Grand Prix track intersects with that international circuit. There are 3 different tracks of course at Silverstone, and through the first sector to 27.2 from Cohen, so he's currently in 9th as he comes through Brooklands and then into Luffield. Very tricky corner, very high second gear. Normally some of the drivers take a very low third through there. Now through Woodcote at turn 8 and we're onto the old pit straight on the right hand side. Pretty much halfway through the lap as we go through the old turn 1 at Cops. Taking it nearly flat out, just missing the apex slightly there, Cohen. RRT, Louis, Ginger, Thomas, Toxic, well up there currently. Now through Maggots and Beckett's with Cohen, the Dutchman, flying through Maggots, then into Beckett's, and then on towards the Hanger Straight. And this is looking like a very neat lap from Cohen. Just has a little bit of an opposite lock moment coming out of onto the Hanger Straight. It's a 103 flat through the middle sector. Of course, all drivers on a set of soft compound of tyres. Cohen now through Stowe. This is looking pretty good, I've got to say. He is jumping up the order quite considerably. ILRT Louis Lill looks like he could take this one out on track. Cohen now through Vale and into Club, and then into the final corner, turn 18, and it's ILRT Louis with a 25.9.
Wow. Wow, really, really good lap. I was on board with TTG Toxic during that lap. He made a massive mistake in the final sector and dropped from a top 5 all the way down to P18, so a really, really awful end to qualifying for him. But wow. 3 tenths clear, well, basically 4 tenths clear of his ILRT teammate, and I would like to say congratulations to me for predicting the top 2 correctly.
Well done to you. Well done to you.
Just about by 8 thousandths of a second, but yeah, Louis, once again, a really dominant qualifying form as well.
Yeah, fantastic from ILRT Louis. ILRT Thomas in second, so ILRT 1-2. We've got Ginger in third, Calzo and Hugo for LR in fourth and fifth, Kaz in sixth with Vaporon, Campbell, Cohen and Carlsbury rounding off the top 10. Interesting, the top 13 less than a second separating Verstappen, Dropye, Terror Racer, Navy, Ghost, Deneen, Yanel, Toxic not setting the time, and Yordi getting a disqualification because of an invalidated lap. So the Scotsman for the PMP team not going to be, he's going to have to try and hope for a bit of a miracle, I think, from the back of the field. But we are here, of course, at Silverstone. 18 corners then await the drivers out on track. 13 laps in total. How are the strategies going to play out?
I think this is a track that, despite kind of the pressure that it puts on the tyres, it's not a hard track on the tyres. And because of that, I think we're going to see a lot of people actually running quite long on the soft tyres. I think people towards the back probably will start on the mediums and get rid of the mediums relatively early, just because the softs can hold the pace around this track for up to 8 or 9 laps pretty easily. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people running longer on the softs than they do on the mediums.
I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. I think the softs normally last around 5, maybe even 6 laps if drivers do want to push out the softs. But on a set of medium compounded tyres, you're looking to probably pit in around lap 8, go on to that set of soft compounded tyre, and there we get to see the first look at the cars. My first look actually at the cars in Mini League 1. And ILRT running with a very traditional white and yellow livery. I've got to say it looks very nice, that. Ginger for the PMP team, let's focus on him. They're running an orange and black livery, similar to what I like to call the... they're running 2 different liveries, I think, PMP. And the first livery looks like the IndyCar, without the blue, the IndyCar of McLaren, I think. PMP Ginger is running. Kaz, I think, is also running a different livery. He's running the pure orange livery there for PMP. TTG running the red and blue, blackish, like red, silver and black, I'm going to call it, livery for TTG. Campbell, well, you can have a look at QVRs yourself because there's no... That's probably the most recognisable car out on track, I think. Campbell with the blue and the white. And, of course, as we look through to the other team, Livid Racing, who I've missed Calzo and Hugo further up. But they're running a very traditional white and red, which reflects their logo quite nicely, actually, as well, out on track. Let's have a look then at the strategies, which is the most important, and everyone's been, I think, quite conservative, to be honest. Softs to mediums, probably the quickest strategy around here, but only 2 on the mediums, Verstappen and Dropye. How do you think those guys will get on in the early stages of the race?
I think pace-wise, Verstappen and Dropye are going to struggle a little bit, but like I said, they may be able to pit relatively early and come out in some clean air. I think Dropye last week was very good at making the alternate strategy work. He unfortunately out-qualified outside the top 10 in Spain, I believe. He did a good race on the alternate strategy last time out, so I would not be surprised to see him at the front of the field towards the end of the race.
We're coming now towards the end of the formation lap, through Vale and Club on this formation lap. What I'm going to do is ask you for a top 3 again.
Well, I think I can't really bet against Louis winning this race. I think Louis got this one in the bag unless something crazy happens. I'm going to go for Thomas in second, and then we're going to have an ILRT double podium again. Third, I'm going to go for LR Hugo.
Do you know what? I'll agree with you on that top 3. That's exactly who I was going to pick. Anyways, we're about to get underway. The 5 red lights then are about to go out with a little bit of a shocking camera angle there, but the 5 red lights are about to go out here for Mini League 1. Round 3 is underway, and ILRT Louis gets a very good start, but I think Thomas has got a quicker start off the line. Has he got the inside line down towards turn 1? No, he'll play the wingman roll through turn 1. A little bit of a bumping and barging there between Ginger and Calzo. Danina's lost the position, so has Navy, down into the village then for the first time. Oh, and there's a car around in the background. I think that's Vapor on that is round. He's also being caught up. I think Yanel might have been caught up in that as well as Terror Racer, and there's all sorts of carnage going on further down the field that has split the field pretty much in half early on, and it's side by side between Hugo and Kaz as they run down towards Brooklands for the first time. The PMP driver and the LR driver on the inside, trying to force the line there through Luffield. He just about gets the move done, so Hugo up into 5th position. The Frenchman doing a good job there on the Dutchman, and Kaz currently right on the back of him. Campbell and Dropier have gained positions early on as well. ILRT Louis though leads from Thomas in 2nd, Ginger 3rd, Calzo 4th, Hugo 5th. Let's have a look further down the field. Deneen is on the back of Cohen as we approach Maggots and Beckett, and let's just have a look then at the position changes as Deneen definitely doesn't want to go side by side through there. Two drivers are going side by side, however, though, with Verstappen and Carlsbury, I think, coming through Maggots and Beckett. Goodness me, and a good run out by Janel, and the Finn has gone flying past his fellow countryman. So Janel past Carlsbury, the TTG man, under pressure now from Ghost and Toxic further down the field. Ghost up the inside, trying to make good progress through the field early. Ghost just about to try and pull this one off. Oh, 3 wide and a little bit of a force there. Toxic and Ghost. Ghost has had to recover the car. That, I'm afraid, is bad driving, to be honest, from Toxic, if I've got to have an opinion on that. ILRT Louis though leads. Thomas in 2nd, Ginger in 3rd, Calzo in 4th. A little bit of an unclean lap 1.
Yeah, a little bit of a crazy lap 1, that incident between Ghost and Toxic. I think actually Toxic got a little bit caught out by his teammate coming across and having to go into the pit lane for front wing damage. So I think that's what actually caused that squeeze between the two of them. Absolute disaster on the first lap for TTG. 3 of their 4 drivers with front wing damage.
Disaster for TTG, and it's not really good. I think it might have been actually Vaporon that came across. I'm not sure. We'll have to review the footage, and I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that one. Janel trying to get onto the back of Verstappen in the meantime. About 0.3 of a second separating this mid-pack battle between the PVR team and the ILRT team, and ILRT Janel making good progress through the field. He's gained 5 positions early, so was Toxic. 6 positions gained for Deneen, the most gained out on track. But it looks like Calzo might be setting up a move on Ginger to run down towards Stowe. And the LR man, pretty much the top 6 have remained as they are. And I think that's just a credit, really, to what happened in behind.
Yeah, I think the chaos has let, obviously, the top 8 at this moment get away. Got to keep an eye out for Dropshire, though. Great stuff for Dropshire. Started 11th, was on the mediums. He's managed to keep hold of this top pack. And he's obviously on the slower tyres, so he'll be on the better tyre at the end of the race. He is in a great position for a good result today. And he's keeping up with his teammate. As fast as that for Louis. But I think Campbell's starting, I think the QVR man of Campbell is starting to lose touch a little bit with those in front, especially with Kaz showing a bit more pace than Hugo. I think they're all starting to bunch up a little bit, and the QVR guys are starting to drop back a little bit, but still Dropshire in a really, really
Toxic!
good position.
Toxic down the inside of Janel, trying to get the move done in towards the loop. Through turn 4 now, Janel on the inside line. The ILRT man battles back, but TTG on the outside line. TTG Toxic against Janel, running down the Wellington Straight as we come towards Brooklands and Luffield once again. Toxic on the outside line, Janel on the inside line. Janel is still there fighting, but Toxic is through around the outside and onto the inside line through Luffield. He gets the move done, he's up to 12.
Yeah, brilliant move from Toxic. He set that one up a few corners before he actually eventually made the move, but all of the TTG hopes at the moment kind of rest on him, to be honest, and he's obviously dropped a little bit far off, but people in front they're starting to battle a little bit. Cohen, Deneen, Verstappen and Toxic should be able to keep up with those guys relatively easily, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do for TTG at this point. Up front, it's still relatively close together. However, Thomas is starting to put a little bit of pressure on his teammates, so Lewis hasn't driven away from the pack like he did in the 2 races last time out. It'll be interesting to see whether he can do that in the second stint, but Thomas at this point in time looks like he's got the pace to keep with his teammate.
Dropier and Cohen both into the pits. I think both of them on a set of softs. No, sorry, mediums for Dropier. Cohen going on for a set of soft compound tyres. So both of them are in, and Deneen had just got the move done actually on Dropier, so he got up into 8th position for that move before all these guys came into the pits. Cohen and Ghost also into the pits as well. I like to go, yeah, I've got to really reiterate what you said there. I think Thomas is the quicker man out on track, and he certainly looked quicker in particular in that final sector, last lap around. Let's see if the Lithuanian can maybe try and spoil the party here. Who is the ILRT first man out on track, I wonder? Well, you'll have to watch and see, really. Ginger in 3rd, Calzo in 4th. I've got to say, as I say, the top 6 really close towards each other, and Kaz is doing a good job for the PMP team. They need a good result, and currently 2 their drivers in the top 6.
Yeah, they're showing really well. It's really kind of a mix of 2 two teams at the moment in the top 8, in the top 7 at the moment. It's a mix of 2 from 4 teams at the moment. It's 2 ILRTs, 2 MPs, 2 LRs, and before his pit stop it was 2 QVRs. So a real mix of drivers at the front. So I wonder if any team orders are going to come to it. But I'm going to say the same thing as well. Thomas looks like the faster man at this point. Is anyone going to come in? I think everyone's going to stay out. Or no, the 2 Livid Racing cars are into the pit lane. So Calzo and Hugo both make pit stops relatively early compared to those around. And Campbell's also in as well in the QVR team. So they're going to try and get the undercut on the 2 PMP and the ILRT cars.
I think Deneen was trying to go around the outside of Stoll when we came on board there. Verstappen into the pits just ahead of him, so obviously those 2 guys were battling just before those guys were coming into the pits. I've just dropped on board actually with Navy and Cohen out on track. They're quite close together, 6.5 tenths, so it looks like now Cohen on the fresher mediums is beginning to lengthen away through the corners, but down the straight Navy trying to get in. He's not going to be close enough, however, for the move. We flick through. ILRT Louis leading from Thomas in second. But maybe these 2 are just beginning to run a bit of a conservative race for the ILRT team, and of course, if these 2 are teammates out on track, of course we're running the multiplayer cars, but if these 2 are teammates out on track, one of them is going to have to blink first.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a case of what strategy they think is better, whether they think the undercut or the overcut is the stronger strategy, and whether Thomas thinks that he has the pace to pass his teammate and take the win himself. Just a note on all the people that pitted. Campbell's both QVR cars have lost a little bit of time, so Campbell's nearly 3 seconds off the back of the 2 Livid Racing cars, and Drophill was actually held up in the pit lane on his pit stop, and he's dropped back behind his teammate. So
Thomas.
Yeah, he was very close, wasn't he? Thought about the move, but not quite close enough. Is Thomas going to pit? He is, yeah. Lewis stays out, Ginger's in as well. Yeah.
Kaz interestingly staying out. Yeah, ILRT Yano beginning to get close. Like, oh, go on. What we said?
Yeah, let's just say the 2 teams have completely split their strategies. So one ILRT and 1 PMP stay out, the other 2 come in, which I think is what Livid Racing personally should have done. I think they should have split their strategies and hope for possibly one of them to get at the front and one of them to be a little bit further in their pack and make some moves themselves. But they seem to think that. Oh yeah.
On the exit of Beckett's, that is actually. Before the hanger straight, Terror Race is right on the back of Colesbury as well. I was just coming onto this battle actually between them both. Saw Deneen off. Could be past Deneen. Deneen has got gravel on his tyre. Colesbury up the inside. Finn and the Irishman. Tiny bit of lag there, but the Irishman is ahead. So Colesbury just having to relinquish position. And he's on fresher tyres, but Colesbury dives it up the inside through Vale and Club. Don't think that was going to work. And he's let both PMP drivers through as well. Colesbury think he's just got to take it a little bit calmer out on track, otherwise I think he would have got that move done.
Yeah, so it was from a long way back, and Deneen left him space. I think Carlsbury just ended up
down the inside. Yordi on Terror Racer. That's team orders.
Back of Terror Racer. Yeah, Carlsbury just hit the back of Terror Racer as well in that corner, and Terror Racer's going to force Carlsbury had a road at this point. These 2 are a little bit too close together at this point. They're really starting to lose time. They've already dropped over a second off the back of the 2 of them in front in those 2 corners. But yeah, Carlsbury a little bit over aggressive. I think he's just got to calm it down and wait for a move that he knows.
Oh no! No way! Round the outside of Luffield. Carlsbury has got to be kidding. Trying to go around the outside of Luffield. Oh, and they make contact. That was never going to work, and both of them are out of the race. Carlsbury just being a little bit too on the power, I think, to be honest. He looked like he nearly got the move done, but trying to go around the outside was never going to work there. Calzo's right on the back of Ginger as well. This is currently for a net P4 out on track, with Kaz and Louis both into the pit, and Calzo not getting that move stuck, but we're right on board with him as he comes through onto the left-hander, through Vale and into Club. Can Ginger get this? Can he defend this position well? But the 2 LR drivers right on the back, out on track.
Coming out the pit lane. Albert, this is Thomas. Thomas is ahead. Thomas is ahead.
Oh, they're going to be really close. Kaz is behind these guys.
Whoa. Kaz has dropped behind. Yeah, the undercut seems to have worked so far.
Oh, he's down the inside.
Hugo saw it come in and left in the space. Good driving from Hugo. And Kaz gets a bit of a poor exit as well. He's not able to quite make the move stick. But yeah, Thomas undercut his teammate, and the 2 ILRT cars have now gapped those behind him.
Calzo down the inside of Ginger through Brooklands. Can he get the move done? He can't. Gonna try it on the switchback. Not quite. Droppier's gone through on Campbell as well. I think that's team orders there for the 2 KVR boys out on track. But Thomas, interestingly, yeah, we said earlier on that they were the quicker, that he was the quicker driver out on track. It's been proven because he's now in the lead of the race. But I'll tell you what, a 4-car battle for third is beginning to develop because Ginger and Kaz essentially have sandwiched the 2 LR drivers out on track. It's that bread, essentially, the ends of the bread where you get for the PMP cars, and then the filling right in the middle, which is the LR cars. I think that's a good food analogy there. Calzo down the inside of Ginger trying to get the move done, and he has. Good move there by Calzo, getting the move done. Ginger just on the power there, a little bit too much, just nearly caught the back of him, but down in toward Vale and Club once again, and there stays the arse of Calzo up to third. Good move.
Yeah, really good move from Calzo. He had the run coming out of Maggots and Beckett's. He definitely had the overspeed, so the move was done pretty much before the corner. So good move from Calzo. Let's see if he can try and catch back up to the 2 ILRT cars, but they've gapped themselves from those behind. So is it the time for ILRT to start pulling away now? Or will the others be able to catch up as Hugo and Kaz are now side by side? I think Hugo's just fended that one off again. Just a word on QVR as well. They've got 3 cars in a row, but they've dropped off the back of this fight, unfortunately. They've just not quite got the pace to keep up with the 6 in front of them. Ooh. But still a good showing for QVR.
Ginger trying to go around the outside there through Brooklands. He's now down the inside line, nearly through Luffield, trying to get the move done. I was just right on board. Yordi's got past Deneen further down the field in 14th position. Yordi got the move done. I think it was on the run down towards the Hangar Straits. That's where he got that move done. So he's up into 14th position. But PMP, I think it's just a matter of time, to be honest, where this pack of 4 begins to split apart and we get 2 separate battles between 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th. Calzo has got to do everything in his power to try and defend, but these guys are now stuck in that DRS train, and it's going to be so difficult, I think, for Hugo and Kaz especially, to try and get past. No move getting pulled off there. Louis beginning to come into his element, I think. 4.5 tenths behind Thomas out in front, and we come on to lap 9. If you're just tuning in to Esports Mini League 1, yes, this is not Kieran McGinley. I'm James Head filling in for Kieran here tonight, and team orders for the lead of the race as Louis goes through on Thomas. So Thomas, interestingly, letting Louis through. I wonder if they heard me about 10 seconds ago.
Possibly they might have done, absolutely, but it's a little bit of a shock to me because I think they were running fine just as they are, to be honest. I think Thomas and Louis had pretty similar pace, so they were running relatively well and they were still pulling away from the people in front, so I don't understand necessarily why they would slow each other up and let each other through, because that's cost them a little bit of time. But at the moment they're still comfortably out in front, so maybe I'll eat my own words and haven't really affected themselves too much. But yeah, that battle for third, I think it's going to stay as a 4-car battle for the time being. I think at the moment Calzo doesn't have the pace to pull away, and I don't think Hugo and Kaz are any slower than Ginger and Calzo in front, so I think they're going to be able to keep up and make this a 4-way fight for third.
Calzo, to be honest, is just they're all keeping these gaps very consistent, I think, these 4 drivers out on track, and it is going to possibly let Droppy and Campbell
Calzo
in. Bit of a mistake there from Calzo. Ginger around the outside of him. This is going to let the door wide open, wider than a church door being open right here. Hugo trying to go down the inside on Ginger. Can he get the move done into Stoll? This is on board with Calzo's point of view. Ginger hangs it around the outside, and he has the traction around the outside. Lap pressure tyres coming into play, and the PMP man is through, and he's up to third. And Calzo dropping down past Hugo as well.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake from Calzo. It's cost him 2 places. He smartly let his Livid Racing teammate through as well, so that he could try and have a run at Ginger, which didn't quite pay off. But Hugo was all over the back of Ginger. Is he going to go for moving to turn 3?
No, he'll wait for the DRS.
Yeah, he's going to wait for the DRS zone.
Caused a little bit of a Constantino effect in behind there as Kaz is trying to get down the inside of Calzo. That is a late move by Kaz. I think he had the entitlement to do, because both of the LR guys just had that little bit of a Constantino effect out on track, and Calzo has lost another position to Kaz. There might be, I think, a few words about that later on.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact, but like you said, I think Kaz was definitely entitled to the move. There was plenty of space, and he didn't completely outbrake himself. I think it was just unfortunate that I don't think Calzo really saw that one coming. So good move from Kaz, and he's up to 5th. Maybe he can keep up with the 2 in front. I think Calzo's starting to struggle a little bit on those older mediums. He's not quite got the pace of the 3 in front of him at this point.
You would imagine though that Kaz could try and get past Hugo and then get past his teammate, because obviously Hugo now stuck in that PMP sandwich that we were on about earlier on, albeit on a smaller scale. Hugo getting the much better exit out of onto the hanger straight, and now Ginger is under all sorts of pressure from Hugo, and he's dropped Kaz for the time being. Hugo with the speed around the outside, beautiful move around the outside of Stowe. Surely he's got this one done, and he has, and Hugo round, and he's through up to P3, but these four beginning to battle, just beginning to let the QVR guys catch up. 8 tenths gained on this lap for them.
Yeah, they've gained even more time, and Thomas is still keeping with Louis, so they are just incredibly level pace at this point. That neither one of them is faster than the other, and I think the GRS is helping them keep tabs on each other. So I think just great. It just goes to show how strong that ILRT lineup is to have two really fast guys just coming away out front. Yeah, Hugo, he's made the move stick. It looks good, but Ginger's got another good exit. He's got a good exit coming onto the Wellington straight. Let's see if we can get him down into Brooklands. He's got the overspeed.
He's got the speed. Surely down the inside.
Yeah, Hugo lets him do. I think Hugo saw that one coming in, didn't want to fight it too much and lose too much time, so set Ginger back through into P3. Ginger had a little bit of a tough time last week. He qualified well and had good races, but a couple of mistakes cost him a number of positions in both races. But this time round, he's showing really well and he's on for a possible podium. So Ginger really stepped up his game so far this week.
Took that flat out through Cops and really gained the time in towards Maggots and Beckett. Hugo and Kaz just beginning to catch back up. But these four guys are beginning to catch. Campbell, by the way, has gone past through on Droppier. I think that was down Wellington straight where he got that move done clean on his teammate. Kaz, though, right on the back of Hugo. We could have 3 wide into Stowe here. Kaz right on the back. He's going to be boxed in here. Ginger on the inside line, Hugo all the way around the outside. They're still side by side. We take this from Kaz's point of view. Hugo on the inside line, Ginger on the outside line, now through Vale and Club, and that's a great move by Hugo, the Frenchman, pulling off the move, and that is up into 3rd position. These four cars are battling really great out on track.
Yeah, these four are really good clean battling, and Ginger and Hugo have almost had an absolute repeat of the last lap. Hugo did pretty much exactly the same move last time round. Ginger led him through, and then Ginger got him back on the straight, so I wonder if Ginger's going to get a good enough exit to do the same thing this time round. Let's see if he's got the overspeed. I think Hugo's a little bit further ahead this time round, so it's a bit of a harder job for Ginger this time round to get him into Brooklands.
Thomas right on the back of Louis coming in towards Brooklands there. He was nearly going to have a go at his teammate there. That could have been quite a spectacle to see. And Ginger, yeah, you're right, not getting through on Hugo. They're going to have to wait, I think, for the hanger straight to really try and get off the move. Are we seeing ILRT? No, we're not. We're going to see an RLRT battle. I thought we were going to see RLRT team orders the other way around this time. We're on the penultimate lap, by the way, here in Mini League 1. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. James Hale and Aidan Carter, of course, taking you through this one. ILRT, Louis leads. Thomas 2nd, Hugo 3rd, Ginger 4th, Kaz in 5th, Calzo in 6th. Campbell, Droppier, Verstappen, Toxic top 10, Janul for ILRT down in 11th, Cohen in 12th, Yordi 13th, Navy, Ghost, Danine and Vaporon. Interesting, I think he's going to go for the fastest lap of the race. I don't think there is a fastest lap point available. That was the quickest rundown I think I've ever had. Ginger is on the back of Hugo out on track. And final lap, tell you what, Mini League 1, race 1 in Britain has been quite good so far.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good race so far. If it's the same for the final lap, but yeah, these 3rd through 6th inseparable pretty much this entire race. I think obviously ILRT were there at the start.
Oh,
Hugo
my
touches
God.
the grass. Really well held from Hugo. That could have been catastrophic for him if he'd racing, but that's put Ginger right on the back of him again, and Ginger's going to try and get a really good run. He's got an incredible run coming onto the Wellington straight, so surely this is moved on for Ginger down into Brooklands. Is Hugo going to defend? No, he doesn't. He's going to probably wait until the hanger straight, so Ginger's back up to P3.
Yeah, Ginger getting the move done down the inside. Kaz was trying to filter through there as well, not letting the 2 PMP guys get through in the same corner. But Ginger's through and he's up to 3rd position. Thomas right on the back of ILRT. Louis, there are battles happening further down the field as Toxic begins to catch on Verstappen. He's lost a lot of time on that set of soft compound of tyres. Sure, Droppier actually was on a set of softs. He's got through, I think, on Verstappen, and that's why we've seen that move pulled off. But ILRT Louis now coming through with Thomas in behind him, down the hanger straight for the final time, and ILRT Louis I think is going to be getting another win out on track. Vaporon picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think that's the only 3-second time penalty we might have seen in this race. ILRT Louis, though, coming round the final couple of corners. It has been a very dominant performance, I think, from the two ILRT boys out on track. And ILRT Louis across the line to take the win here in Britain. Thomas in second, just going to filter through. What on earth's happening in behind? Kaz trying to go the lunge down the inside. He's got him around the outside. Oh, he had the penalties, but he had him around the outside. I'm not sure what happened there. I think you were in the best place to really tell us what happened there.
I think I wasn't quite sure myself because I was on board with Calzo when that happened. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that might have been Kaz made a little bit of contact with the back of Hugo into Vale, I believe, and that put Hugo offline. I think that may have been what happened. Obviously, we'll have to check afterwards and see if the stewards can pick up on that one. But unfortunately, the penalties dropped him down a number of places. So even if that move was called off, which was a good move on the outside, it's still cost him a lot of places at this point. So Ginger comes home in P3.
Yeah, Ginger P3, Kaz dropping down to 8th position behind 2 of the QVR members. What is that going to do to the points? I do not know. Hopefully we've got some mathematician there in the comment section that can work them out in quick time. We're giving Vaporon a little bit of airtime though. The TTG man is coming around the final couple of corners now through Stowe, and he's looking, hopefully, to set the fastest lap, but he is running out of fuel towards the end of this lap. Vaporon now through the final 2 corners, and he's going to collect for 17th place. Not the strongest drive, I've got to be honest, from the TTG team. Navy down in 13th and Vaporon in 17th, and of course Carlsbury out of the race as well. I think Toxic was their best placed driver in 9th, if I recall. 9th.
Yeah, a bit of a shocking race for TTG. One driver out of the race, and a number of them were damaged on the first lap, so they've got to make up for it in the next race. They've got some catching up to do.
It's that man again. It's Brendan Louis, who has taken the race win here in Britain. And look, Brendan Louis. Yeah.
Brendan Louis.
Brendan Louis.
That will do. That will do. A mix of the two of them.
Always mention it in my Division 1 streams for League of Europe when he wins a race. And another performance to really excel on. Thomas finishing in 2nd and finishing in 3rd in the end, of course, was PMP Ginger. So, at the end of race 1, we've still got another round to come up in Mexico. And if you thought the overtaking was good here in Silverstone, then you're going to have to wait for Mexico, because I think it'll be twice as good. Louis then takes the win for the RLRT team. It's a 1-2 for the RLRT team, and they just assert their dominance even further. 1st and 2nd for Louis and Thomas. Ginger in 3rd with Hugo in 4th. Calzo in 5th, drove well, the Scotsman. From Campbell in 6th, getting ahead of Droppier late on. Kaz dropping down to 8th. Toxic in 9th, Verstappen in 10th. Cohen in 11th, so good showing there actually by all 4 KVR members. Yanel in 12th, Navy, Deneen, Yordi, who got past Ghost quite late on. Vaporon down in 17th, and Terror Racer and Carlsbury getting caught up in that contact. Unfortunately, the 2 DNFs, which means they score 0 points out on track.
Ooh, that is such a shame for them. Yeah, hopefully for the likes of TTG, they can have a bit of a better showing. But yeah, Livid Racing and PMP, 2 very strong races for them. So they've kind of put themselves out front in that battle for 2nd at this point. QVR and TTG just left a little bit lagging behind, but maybe they can make up for it in Mexico.
Hopefully we can. Hopefully they will be able to make it up in Mexico. Let's have a look then at some of the comments that are coming through. Plenty of comments actually coming through. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this the esports mini league tonight, and you're adhering to your social distancing, of course. We certainly are in the commentary box tonight. But here in Mexico, it is a whole different track. We've got a former baseball stadium section out on track. We have got 3 DRS zones out on track as well here in Mexico at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. That's my best pronunciation, I think I'll do all night. 3 DRS zones. The opportunity for overtaking here should be limitless.
Absolutely, this is definitely a great, a really brilliant track for racing. There's a number of great overtaking spots, and this track is it's kind of a level playing field really, because this track it has kind of a mix really of different sections. It has a mix of high speed, it has a mix of flowing sections, and then slow speed, so it can bring out the best and worst in pretty much every driver. So we should have a really close grid this time.
think we should have a really close grid, and hopefully we are going to see all teams deliver out on track, and I'm sure you guys as the viewers will be wanting to make your feelings aware within the comments section. Of course, do put some comments in the comments section if you've got any questions, of course, or any support for the drivers out on track. If you've got any questions for us, or if you're just purely tuning in to hear a dulcet tone of a northeast Englishman, then I welcome you. Because Aiden probably doesn't know what dulcet tones means, but there we go.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue.
Haven't got a clue. Just having a look at the comment section, and good evening as well to everyone. Plenty of support in for the TTG team. Plenty of support in for from Kos Vexum, who I think is in the contest of Speed League, if I'm not mistaken. He's supporting Kaz completely all the way there, and he drove well for the majority of that race. He was just unlucky with the penalty, finishing up in 8th position.
Yeah, I think a little bit of an invisible race, but yeah, still a good showing. Definitely good for their team. So hopefully he can do more of the same in this one.
Yeah, QVR Chill coming in saying solid performance from the boys for QVR, and we've just had the points updated.
Ooh.
Breaking news. Breaking news at 6 minutes past 9. ILRT still lead the way. It's unofficial points, albeit, but ILRT lead the way on 180 points.
Ooh,
so
okay.
they've pretty much scored a full one on the dartboard there, I think. QVR second on 134 points, so they stay second, but it is very close between QVR and Livid. And when I say it's very close, 7 points separating QVR and Livid. QVR on 134 and Livid on 127. ILRT Matter, by the way, is going to add for 4th driver for ILRT in this race. Just seen him there join the session. PMP in 4th on 109 points, and TTG main team with that poor performance, if I've got to be honest, down there in 98 points. So still 2nd place, although the gap has now widened. I think it's still all to play for.
I think absolutely, yeah. I think it's mainly a fight between QVR and Livid at this point. PMP have an outside chance if they have a really, really strong showing, and there's a little bit of luck involved with QVR and Livid. I think at this point, TTG are going to have to. I think they're going to have to really pull something out of the bag and hope for a little bit of bad luck from the other teams to really gain a lot of positions. I think in this one, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see who comes out on top.
Think it should be fantastic racing out on track. Of course, we are here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. 17 corners await the drivers out on track tonight. We've already spoken about the 3 DRS zones. One, of course, down the start-finish straight, down towards turn 1. The primary opportunity for overtaking, I think. We've also got the DRS zone down towards the end of the first sector, down in towards turn 4. And we've got that small DRS zone between turns 11 and 12. So after the S section, down towards the baseball stadium section at turn 12 and onto the end of sector 2, that is where the other DRS zone is out on track. But we should be in for an absolute treat. And I'm going to push you again for a top 3 in qualifying.
In qualifying, wow, okay. Ooh, I think we might have something similar. So I think Lou is going to be on pole again. I hate to be boring, but I think it's almost set in stone, really, isn't it? He's so dominant in qualifying. So I think Lou is going to be on pole. I think second, I'm going to go for Ginger P2. I think in this qualifying session, and then third, I'm going to go for Thomas.
I'm going to swap mine. Thomas, Louis. Third, I'm going to go for Hugo.
Oh, okay.
Hugo, I just think he might have a good outside chance of getting into a top 3 as we go on board with TTG Navy out on track. The Dutchman about to start a lap here. Do you feel free to commentate through this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on board with TTG Navy then. Let's see what he can do down to the straight. We've obviously see who has the highest straight line speed at this point down this straight. At the moment, it looks like QVR Cohen has the best straight line speed out of everyone into turn 1, maybe a few positions up. Nicely meets the apex of turn 1 and turn 2. Obviously, you don't want to take too much inside the curve because you can update your lap down into the end. Every takes a little bit of a shallow line on the exit of the corner, but not too bad. He's within reach of the top 10. A little bit late on the brakes into the next corner, but he gets a stop position for a little bit of a lazy chicane. That one into the double right-hander at the top of the corner, of course. Keeps it nice and tidy, nice and neat on the exit as well. Into the S section now. This is where a lot of people, this is separates the men's from the boys. Let's see how Navy does. It's nice and neat. It doesn't quite meet the apex of every corner in the S section. Always a little wide on the exit as well, and that's invalidated his run, unfortunately. So he puts the car in the wall. So we're going to go on board. Let's go on board with Hugo. Let's see how Hugo's doing into the S section. He has invalidated his lap as well. So a number of people have invalidated, it looks like, through the S section. So he comes out of the stadium section around the last corner. A little bit of a slow run. He's a little bit wide on the exit, but not too bad. But unfortunately, he invalidated, and it's Thomas on pole. You predicted it correctly. Thomas beats Louis to pole position, and he takes it by a tenth of a second.
Yeah, 10th of a second separating. Thomas had a very good run out the final corner, which I think gained him that time 0.08 of a second, separating the two LRT drivers out on track. Thomas then takes the qualifying pole position from Louis in second. Campbell in third for the QVR team. That's a good qualifying from him. Hopefully we see the same of that in League of Europe Division 1. Yordi in fourth with Ginger in fifth. Gee, the PMP boys right up there as well. Cohen in sixth. Calzo in seventh. Golson in eighth. Terror Racer in ninth. Toxic rounding off the top 10. Less than 0.7 of a second separating the top 10, with Verstappen down in 11th. Janel, Carlsbury, Matter, Navy, and then we get into the invalidations out on track. Navy, Hugo, Kaz, Deneen, Dropier and Vapron. If Hugo honestly didn't invalidate his time through the S section, I think he was on for third.
Yeah, it looked like he would have been on for a good lap. Unfortunately, obviously, the invalidation really caught him out, as it did a number of people. Again, in qualifying though, TTG, a little bit too far down. Their first TTG drivers in 10th position, so they've really got to make up some ground in this race. Obviously, the run down to turn 1 in Mexico is very vital. It's obviously probably the longest run into turn 1 of the entire calendar. So starting on pole sometimes at this track can be a disadvantage because of people getting the slipstream behind. So let's see who can gain positions down into turn 1.
I think it should be some fantastic action out on track, and 18 laps await the drivers out on track. 17 corners, 18 laps await the drivers out on track, but there can only be one winner of the Esports Mini League. Of course, show who you're supporting in the comments section. Of course, if you are brand new to the Mini League and don't know what this is all about, then you've pretty much been informed, I think, from the first race in Silverstone. Of course, like, comment and subscribe, and tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new, to see the other leagues that we are going to be running. And I'll come in with a little bit of housekeeping, to be honest, before I forget at the end of the stream. TTL F1 tomorrow night, practice and race going to be covered. Keegan McGinley and myself going to take you through that one. And then on Friday we've also got TTL F1 League 2. Myself and Paco Suarez are going to be taking through that one, and it's from both races are from Britain, so you're getting more of Britain on the TTTV channel. Top 10 on a set of soft compound of tyres then, and of course they qualified on that set of tyres, but further down the field, just looking at the strategies, it's half and half.
It's half and half. It's definitely this is far different to Silverstone in how this race can be run. The soft tyres tend to go off quite quickly actually at this track compared to Silverstone, where they don't really tend to go off at all. So it's going to be interesting to see what those people on their mediums can do. Who's on the mediums? We've got Matter, TTG, Navy, we've got Kaz, we've got Deneen and Vapor on all of the mediums. So 5 out of the 10 people outside the top 10 have started on the mediums, which is a bit of a split. Amazed to see Dropjet on the softs though. He's usually king of the alternate strategy, but there's a number of people at the back of the field who were fast in Silverstone, but unfortunately just didn't get the qualifying hooked up this time round. We've got Kaz, who was obviously at the front last time round. We had Dropjet, who was in the top 10. Obviously Hugo as well. And then Navy and Vaporon, who had pretty horrible runs in Silverstone. They're down at the bottom of the field as well. So they've got some making up to do, and we know that they're fast, so they'll definitely be ones to watch in this race.
So Thomas then leads us through the baseball stadium section, and we rejoin the grid. Deneen, by the way, I think had a bit of a moment coming out of the S section. Probably doesn't do that in the race. I saw that on the mini-map. I didn't catch it on the stream, so he's lucky with that one. Don't want to really embarrass him, I think, the Irishman out on track. Otherwise, he'd be in my DM straight after this race thinking, what on earth have you been doing watching me? But, out on track, top 3, quickly. Oh.
Oof.
Thought you went quiet
Just thinking, actually. I was just thinking. I think it's going to be Louis and Thomas again, and then third. I'm going to go for Calzo in third.
Interesting. 5 red lights then are about to go out for the final round of Mini League 1 here in Mexico. Lights down, away we go. Thomas gets a very good start. So does ILRT. Louis off the line. A little bit of a drop down position. Yordi's got a good start as well. He's up to third already. And the KVR Campbell and Ginger have had a bit of a shocker off the start. Hugo's dropped a few positions as well. 3 wide down towards turn 1. Thomas and Louis, the 2 ILRT drivers, lead us through. And Thomas holds on to the lead of the race from Louis in second. Yordi in third. There's been a little bit of contact, I think, in the back of the shot. A few drivers running each other off. Vaporon, it's Ghost actually that has been caught up in that, a little bit of contact further down the field. ILRT, Mata and Hugo I think might have been caught up in that as well, but Thomas leads us through the end of the first sector for the first time here in Mexico. From Thomas, from Louis in second, Yordi in third. Who's that off? Deneen is off, I think, through turn 5. Unfortunate for the Irishman. So LR not having a great race so far. 3 of their drivers out, and Terra Racer has gone through in the S section, I think. So Terra Racer has spun, actually coming out of turn 7. I'm not sure if that was by himself. I think it was probably likely that it was, but Thomas leads the way then as we come towards the stadium section for the first time. Louis in second, Yordi in third, Campbell fourth, Calzo fifth, Ginger sixth, Toxic up to seventh. Good start from the TTG man, gaining 3 positions. Yanel in 8th as well, with Cohen in 9th, Crosby 10th, Verstappen in 11th, Navy in 12th, Droppier in 13th, Hugo right on the back of him in 14th, Droppier as well right on the back of Navy, Kaz, Vaporon, Deneen, Ghost, Matter, and Terra Racer, as we see Verstappen into the pits, and Navy having a bit of a mistake out of the final corner there. Colsbury is right on the back of Cohen, literally up the backside of Cohen as he runs down towards turn 1. The TTG man lunging it down the inside line. Can he get the move done? He can't. He's going to have to wait for the DRS, of course, in a couple of laps' time. Oh, and who was that recovering the car? Toxic! Oh my god, what a recovery that is! How on earth he kept it out of the wall? It could give Colsbury now a run on Cohen down the inside line. Can he get the move done? But the Dutchman, I think, is just going to hold off this one, and Thomas has left the session from the lead of the race. It's all falling apart for the ILRT team. So Thomas down into third position. He's lost connection from the race. Cohen and Colsbury still going side by side, and Cohen has somehow defended that off Colsbury. And Thomas, unfortunately, hopefully he's got another invite incoming, because ILRT, although they've got a big lead, has seen points drop away right in front of their eyes.
Yeah, it's a real mix of people who've had bad starts. We've just had Kaz, who spun on the exit of turn 3. He's lost his front wing, so that's a PMP man that shot down the field. Vape on the hards, he had to pit early on. Second race in a row, he had to do that, and I believe his TCG teammate Navy has front wing damage again as well. So we'll drop it in the pits really early on as well. But we've got a real mix of teams at the bottom, so we've got 1 TTG, 1 QPR, 1 PMP and 1 ILRT car all at the back of the field, so all the teams have had pretty poor starts by the looks of things, so it's a real mix to see what people can do at the front. Campbell's looking pretty racy at the moment in P3 after a bit of a poor start from him.
TTG team tactics, Colsbury letting through Toxic. Toxic, the quicker man out of turn 3, and has got the move done on Colsbury, and that was just pure let through there by the Finn. The Toxic up into 8th position, and Droppier, Mata and Kaz all into the pit lane. Quite a bit of contact further down the field, but up front, it's been relatively clean, and Ginger's on the back of Calzo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the same people again that are performing really well. Ginger's performing really well, as is Calzo. Calzo's made up a number of positions on the first lap, so he's up from, I believe he was 6th on the grid, and he's made his way up to 4th.
7th.
So he's at 7th on the grid, there you go. So he's had a good start for Livid Racing. He's kind of holding the fort at the moment for them, though. Livid Racing's start hasn't been really good. We've got Ghost and Dean in 13th and 14th at the moment, so they haven't had the best of starts. So let's see what he can do for that team, but Ginger looking racy as he was. They're starting to drop Janel behind in the second ILRT car at the moment. Cohen and then the 2 TTG cars who are a little bit spaced out from the top 5 at the moment.
Here comes Campbell.
Yeah, he's close enough for the move.
Not close enough, I don't think. Oh, he has a little bit of a look down the inside, but I don't think that was going to be close enough for the move. I don't think Campbell should have really tried for that one. Calzo and Ginger now right on the back of each other. They're running the DRS train as they run down towards turn 4. Campbell trying to go around the outside line. We've taken on board with Ginger. Now on board with Calzo as Campbell is down the inside. The 2 Scotsmen finding out. Could let Calzo win as well. I think we've got 3 Scotsmen actually finding out on track between these guys. It is a Scots fest out on track. Campbell trying to go around the outside of Yordi. Good move around the outside. He just cuts him up slightly, but he had the car ahead, and I think he was going to get the move done. And Ginger's through on Calzo as well, as Calzo drops down through the field. I think Scotch Fest is now over and done with.
Yeah, I think Calzo got caught out. He's actually going to be under pressure from Janel now as well. He's down the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? There's a little bit of contact. Calzo still down the inside for the hairpin. Is he going to break late enough to make the move stick? No, they're still side by side. Yeah, Calzo caught out by Ginger. Oh, yeah,
got him.
I think... Yeah, Janel's got the inside, but the switch back from Calzo, well read. Going to get the better run down the straight.
Good battle,
DRS, though. He does. Yeah, Janel did get DRS and Calzo did, so Calzo should have the straight line speed to pull ahead. But yeah, Calzo caught out by Ginger, kind of coming out nowhere. Geordie was a little bit slow through the S section after being passed, and Calzo got caught out by it, and Ginger found his way through. So P&P, good result for them so far, 3rd and 4th. They're doing pretty well.
Doing very well indeed. Yordi and Ginger up to 3rd and 4th, and Ginger looking, to be honest, the quick for the two-man out on track. Is there going to be let through, I wonder, later on in the race, and remains to be seen. Toxic is on the back of Cohen further down the field. This is for 8th position out on track, but the train really spans, I think, from Calzo backwards to Janel, Cohen, Toxic, and Colsbury having a good race. He's getting 4 positions early on, but the real chief gainer, I think, is Janel. Although he's been dropping off the pace of the front men, he's gained 6 positions out on track, and I don't think we need to take that away from him. I think he looks quicker, actually, than the guys ahead, especially Calzo.
Yeah, he's had a really, really good start. I think it was a shame that Thomas left the session. Thomas obviously back in, he's in 10th at this point, but Gano holding up the fort really well.
Oh.
Someone spun in the
Is that Deneen?
sector. It is Deneen, yeah. Deneen spun in the S section all on his own by the looks of things, which is a shame for him. I don't think he lost many positions in that.
He didn't lose any.
Yeah, so he's kind of all on his own at the moment. But yeah, I think that, like you said, the train kind of stems back from Calzo. He's dropped a little bit far behind the 2 P&P cars, and then Campbell.
Vaporon. 2 DNFs for him on the night for Vaporon out on track. And sorry, not a DNF, because he finished 17th last time out in Silverstone. So a DNF adding to TTG's Wolves, I think, out on track there for Vaporon. And I had a look actually within our team chat, and he was not really happy, I don't think, with that first race, and I don't think he's going to be that happy now.
No, absolutely not. It's a real shame. Hopefully that retirement was accidental, not on purpose as well, because obviously you can score points throughout every position. So, yeah. But yeah, just a real shame for Vaporon. It's had a bit of a tough night, as have TTG as a whole, to be honest. So, a shame for them. Fingers crossed the rest of their team can get some good points, but a number of people are getting time penalties. I noticed Campbell got one at the start of the lap. Calzo's just got one. I believe someone else within the top 10 also had one. I think it's Carlsbury that's got one, and now Matt has got one. So a number of people getting penalties. That's going to be really influential in the result at the end of this race.
It's not surprising, to be honest. Campbell is into the pits from 2nd position out on track. It was getting caught by a whole train of cars behind him. Janel is also into the pits, as well as, I think that might be RRT Thomas coming in. No, I thought I saw somebody coming into the pits. Toxic though on the back of Cohen, running down the straight. TTD against QVR. Ginger has gone through on Yordi down towards Turn 1. Team Orders there, I think. And Toxic is through down the inside. Or is he on Cohen? Trying to get the move done, but Cohen sticks out the door, and Toxic will have to come back at him towards Turn 4. And now Toxic on the back. Both of them running the DRS, of course. Toxic onto the inside line. He's very late on the brakes here. Can he get the move done into Turn 4? Cohen sees him coming, lets him have the position, and Toxic through, and he's up to 5th. I think Cohen, though, could have put up a little bit more fight than that.
I think so, but Toxic was very late on the brakes, and I think Cohen kind of backed out, not wanting anything to really hamper his race, really. I think fighting that one would have cost him more time than it would have him just letting him through, to be honest, and he would have been under threat from the other TTG car behind. So now let's see if Toxic can catch up to the form in front. But I've just noticed in the pit lane, Campbell's ended up coming out on hard tyres. I don't know whether that was an intentional choice or not, but that seems like a little bit of a mistake from Campbell. He definitely could have got to the end of the race on mediums and has come out on the harder set tyres, so he's going to be down on pace. I
think it might be because Verstappen's already been into the pits on medium, so they're trying to do an alternate strategy, those two QVR drivers out on track, because that's why they were both on mediums when they came in. There's a whole host of cars coming into the pits. Yeah. Ginger, Yordi, Toxic, Cohen, Thomas, all into the pits as well. I think Navy is going to continue on. Ghost is into the pits, however. But out in front, currently out on track, RRT Louis has just been quite dominant. Unfortunate, I think, for Thomas, for Thomas, who looked like the quicker driver, I've got to be honest, out on track out of the two RRT men before that disconnect happened early on in the race. But out on track, he's doing well. He's still in 10th position, and Hugo is side by side with him down towards someone. In fact, Hugo has got the overspeed and has gone past him. So Hugo now up to 10th, Thomas up to 11th, and Verstappen and the 3 QVR guys. This is like an advert for these guys. Droppier's through around the outside on Verstappen, and Cohen is back out on a set of mediums as well, out on track. So quite a few moves beginning to happen. And looking actually, Campbell on a set of hards, Yordi and Ginger are second off. Think Yordi and Ginger surely are going to be the quicker drivers, and he's going to be very prone to Yanel and Toxic in behind as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that whole pack is going to be coming at Campbell pretty heavily. Obviously, this track it is relatively easy to overtake once you have the overspeed, especially down straight. So,
5-second time penalty.
Yeah, I noticed Toxic also picked up a 5-second time penalty for being in the pit lane. So a number of people getting penalties at this point that's really costing them. Toxic also got a 3-second penalty on that lap, as did Louis, I believe. And I think Ginger got one lap before. So a number of people... Yeah, Carlsbury's in as well. He's put the hards on. It's another person who's put the hards on. It seems like a little bit of a mistake to put the hards on. I don't think that... While they will obviously get you to the end of the race, they're just not that fast. And Carlsbury's just out ahead of Hugo and Thomas.
Toxic trying to go down the inside of Calzo, somebody cut in, but Toxic was right up the inside there of Calzo down towards turn 1, not lunging for that move. And I think probably the wisest thing out on track is Yanel did get past Calzo, and Calzo actually is a sitting duck down towards turn 4. Toxic again has another bit of a luck there, but Yanel did get through, so we missed the move on Calzo, so Yanel is actually up into P5 out on track. So ILRT beginning to come back into things, and with Thomas in 9th, right on the back of Carlsbury, surely going to be launched forward as a...
Absolutely, yeah. I think Lewis he's way out in front. I don't think he's really under threat at this point. He's so far out in front. He's been able to extend this soft stint by quite a way. So he's definitely looking like the dominant force. Thomas starting to come back into things as well. He's all over the back of Carlsbury at this point. But obviously Carlsbury's on the hards.
Hugo's on the back as well.
Yeah, Hugo's there as well. So Hugo making his way up the field pretty well. He obviously started towards the back after being disqualified in qualifying for invalidation, but he's managed to work his way through pretty well as well. As we've got a yellow flag. That's
same place. Here comes Yordi. Yordi right on the back of Campbell actually for second position. The Scotsman trying to find it out through turn 1. Ginger's right on the back of this as well. Ooh. And Campbell just about gets ahead. Was there a little bit of a squeeze there, I wonder, because Ginger's right on the back, and Ginger looking the quicker. It could be 3 wide down towards turn 4, but Ginger down the inside line. The gap has appeared. Campbell trying to defend on the set of hards. It's very hard racing between these guys. Ginger is going to try and pull off a 3-way wide move here, trying to go down the inside. Campbell's trying to fight his way through the box. The box, however, has worked, I think, for the PMP team, and Yordi and Ginger come out on top as a result of that. Campbell fought as much as he could, but on that set of hards, it's impossible.
Absolutely, he was a little bit forced out wide, I think, coming out the exit. He was forced. Yeah, Calzo's going to make the move. He made the move on Janel down the pit straight, and they lost the 2 PMP cars, and Campbell lost so much time fighting that the guys behind him now caught up. So I think it was a little bit of bumping and barging between those guys. But yeah, obviously Campbell on the harder tyres couldn't really put up too much of a fight, and he's really starting to struggle with traction. Calzo's got so much more speed coming out the corner, as has Toxic on Janel as well for P6.
Ginger on Yordi as well could be quite close down towards the straight. We could have 3 in a bed. Deneen running has left the session. Unfortunately, Ginger down the inside on Yordi gets the move done. Can Calzo get the move done on his fellow Scotsman? Can Yanel try and fight back on Toxic as well? It's all kicking off right up the front here. Calzo down the inside on Campbell. What a move that is! There was hardly a car's gap, but goodness me, Calzo has made that stick down the inside. Both of them have got DRS down towards turn 4, but he's made that stick, and Calzo through up to P4, and Toxic also through up to P6, passing Yanel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant stuff from those guys. Calzo
found Carlsbury
just about there.
Down the inside of Hugo. Sorry to cut in again. Carlsbury right down the inside of Hugo. They're side by side now, running towards the S section. And they somehow stay as they are. So Hugo defends his position. What were you saying, sorry?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Calzo found a gap that barely existed. He kind of forced his way through, which was really good stuff from him. He's trying to keep up with the 2 PMP cars, but at the moment, 2 PMP cars are starting to really hold each other up. I think Ginger had the run down the straight, but through the S section and through the final sector, hold each other up. And Calzo's already on the back of them, and he's on the lap pressure tyres, so look out for him for a possible P2.
Yeah, look out for him indeed as the DRS train now comes. Yellow flag in sector 3. Carlsbury round through the final corner. Has he been caught up in an incident? There was a car that looked side by side with him, might be avoiding action. I saw that on the mini-map, but Carlsbury is into the pits on a set of hard compound of tyres. So that Toxic has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. He is still on the back of Campbell as we speak. The Scotsman, the two Division 1 drivers from League of Europe, these guys. I normally commentate on these both on a Saturday night, and Campbell is defending off Toxic, and of course this battle between these two guys span well back into Division 2 from last season of League of Europe.
Absolutely, yeah, these two obviously have history of racing against each other in multiple different leagues, so it would be interesting to see how they fight in this one as well. But Toxic is starting to accumulate a lot of penalties, which is going to drop him down the field at this point. I believe General may have one. I haven't seen Thomas pick up a penalty or Hugo. So Toxic could end up dropping outside, possibly, of nearly the top 10 at this point. The amount of penalties is starting to accumulate. Another thing we didn't notice as well in the mess that was the whole pit stop strategies, Cohen lost a lot of time. He was fighting, was a little bit far off the back of the likes of Toxic in general, but he was still within there. He's now over 10 seconds off the back of that group. As Thomas is now past Janel.
Yeah, Calzo trying to go around the outside of Yordi as well. LR against PMP. Oh, they make contact. That was a misjudgment of line there, I think, from the LR man. He just sort of leaned in. Yordi had every right to defend the inside line. I think he was going to get the position done anyways out on track, but it just looked to me as if Calzo leaned on him, trying to pick the racing line. He just misjudged his line slightly. That's why contact was made, and unfortunately it put Yordi back down into 9th position as a result out on track. Sure, that one might be investigated by the stewards. I have a feeling it might be a racing incident though.
Yeah, I think Calzo, that one's really hard to judge. Calzo could have left a lot more space, I think, but at the same time, I think the move was done, so I don't know whether Geordie should have just backed out and waited for the next straight. But this is it's a shame for PMP, who were looking to try and catch back up with the likes of QVR and Nivid Racing. They were on for a possible double podium, which would have been a really good result for them. Now it's just Ginger at the front who's kind of holding the flag for them, and Calzo looks like the faster man at this point. Toxic has passed Campbell now for P4, so is he going to try and battle for a podium at least on the road? And Thomas already back onto the back of Campbell as well, so Thomas is sneaking his way back into this one.
Calzo to the inside on Ginger, trying to get the move done down towards turn 1. This is a clean move for Calzo to try and get the move done. Ginger, however, hanging around the outside. Maybe a little bit of barging match between these two going on. Ginger, of course, trying to get back for his teammate, I think, in this one. Both of them have got DRS, I think. No, they haven't. Ginger hasn't got DRS, and Calzo has got the move done. Ginger not fighting that back. Thomas down the inside on Campbell, who tries to defend that very hard indeed. But Thomas not getting the move done just yet. Now through 6 and 7. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. He's going to have to wait until that DRS zone pops up at the end of the S section. Campbell defending well. Just maybe, for my liking, a little bit too well.
Yeah, I think he's really trying to defend hard with those older hard tyres. I think he's getting a little bit desperate at this point. He obviously wants to score as many points for QVR as he can, and he's the lead QVR man by quite a way at the moment. He's currently P5, the next QVR man's P10, so there's a little bit of a gap back to the next QVR person. But let's see what he can do for the rest of this race. Calzo's pretty much dropped Ginger at this point, so Calzo's looked like the faster man so far. Toxic starting to ever so slightly edge closer to the top to podium position at this point, so let's see if he can catch before the end of the race. Is Thomas and Campbell.
Not close enough. Both of them got DRS. The DRS train is just so potent around here in Mexico, and Campbell has held the move and has held pretty much down the straight. But it just seems to me that Toxic might be coming back to these two.
Yeah, I just think Toxic out of DRS. Like you say, DRS is so powerful around this track. Ginger is within DRS range of Calzo, and that's allowing him to keep Calzo, and Toxic isn't close enough to really be within DRS range, and he's not quite fast enough to get within DRS range within the middle sector, so he's starting to lose out to front in the first sector at least. He does look like the faster man in the middle part of the lap, but just not quite fast enough to get within that DRS range.
Five-way battle for 11th beginning to pick up out on track. Cohen beginning to hold up Verstappen, who in turn is holding up Terror Racer Golson Navy, who could have a shot down into the S section. He backs off though to try and get that move done. He's on a set of softs. but those softs are going to wear, and I have a feeling they're not pretty much going to last to the end of this stint at all. Temo racing right on the back of Verstappen. Navy just going a little bit wide there. He rejoins track in a safe manner, and still Ghost is ahead of him out on track. But it looks like it's now a four-way battle for 12th.
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
I thought Temo racing was going to get the switch back.
Yeah, I thought it was going to try and do it.
Goals down the inside, sorry. Goals down the inside from absolutely nothing. Has got the move done.
Navy down the inside as well. So
three
is it
wide.
going to be 3 wide down the straight?
It could be 4 wide, actually.
Yeah. Oh, my word. Here goes
my God.
Navy to the inside. Look at the straight line speed that Terrorizer has, though. Terrorizer with great straight line speed, but Navy's
down
so
the
late
inside.
on the brakes. Is he going to pull it off around the outside?
No way.
Oh, it's close. Navy gets a penalty on the inside of the corner. Terrorizer gets the exit. Yeah, hard but fair from the two of them, absolutely. But Terrorizer's straight line speed is insane. That was
Goals around the outside of turn 4. Can he get the move done? He's on the inside line of turn 5. He forces his way through on Navy, and that is why you shouldn't leave a gap up the inside, because Ghost has threaded that. There was a car's gap easily there, maybe even a little bit more than that, and Ghost has threaded the eye of the needle, and he's through the 14th position. So the LR man ahead of the TTG man, and LR beginning to come back into this.
Absolutely, and despite all of that battling and all of that craziness, they somehow ended up in the same order. So it just goes to show how evenly matched everyone is.
Oh, look at Thomas. On the back of Campbell, sorry to cut in. Thomas again on the back of Campbell. Down the straight line speed. Surely it's going to be Thomas's move to save her here, and he's got the move done. The Lithuanian man, he's up into P5 out on track. But just a note, and I'll put this in for the stewards as well later on, with him having that disconnect, his penalties will not be getting tallied up on the stream. You'll have to take it from his POV if he does have any penalties. So just a little bit of a footnote on that, I think. Terrorizer and Verstappen fighting for 12th. Look at this. Ghost and Navy right on the back of this as well. This is still going on for P12. Terrorizer Verstappen, though, right on the back of him, trying to get the move done. We're about to go on to the final lap, by the way. I haven't had a full chance to run through the field in order, but honestly, ILRT Louis has just been so dominant out on track, and to be honest, the top 6 are quite silent now, I think. They're not going to really be close enough, I think, towards the end of the race. Navy, though, right on the back of Ghost, nearly going to the inside line. They're not pulling off that move. But in terms of racing here tonight, Silverstone and Mexico has really provided the action.
Absolutely, it's been really, really good races so far. Just noticed Geordie's having a good comeback at this point. I don't know if he dropped behind Hugo, but I think he might have repassed him, and is now up into P8.
Oh, Navy!
Navy disqualified from the session.
Did he use two?
Did he use 2 sets of tyres?
That's what I'm thinking. Tyre regulations. It must have been.
It's either tyre regulations or he got too many penalties. It's one of the two. So obviously penalties are quite high here. As Geordie's going to go for the move on Janel for P7. Is he going to be able to get the switch back on the exit, the chicane? Might be able to, but just to get the best of runs, he wasn't very confident on the power. Thomas on the back of Toxic, by the way, for P4. Just as to say it's not coming alive in the top 6. Thomas is...
Oh, Yordi's down the inside! Oh my goodness me, that's really too late.
Yeah,
Yordi, if I've got to be honest, has got to let that move go, I think. Janel has got to be let through there.
Absolutely, that was far too late on the brakes, and he kind of forced Janel off the track, really. There was not really much Janel could do. Geordie was a little bit desperate, because that's probably one of the last overtaking places on the track. So that was a real dive bomb, so hopefully Geordie lets him back through, but it's the last lap of the race now, so not really much to do, it seems.
There's no desperation from ILRT Louis. Brendan Louis will take 2 out of 2 wins here tonight, and he takes a very dominant win in Mexico. A little bit easier, I think, than a Silverstone race, but he wins out on track. Calzo with a 5-second time penalty, where this is going to drop down. Oh, and ILRT Thomas and Campbell come across the line, I think, together there. Goodness me. They were side by side across the line. Photo finish for that one. Campbell ahead of Thomas. Calzo down in 5th. Janel in 6th. Hugo 7th. Yordi in 8th. Toxic 9th. Dropier 10th. Terrorizer just jumping up into 11th. Cohen Verstappen. Ghost dropping down. Kaz, unfortunate I think for him. He just didn't deliver in qualifying, and he's going to be across the line in 15th. And unfortunate as well for Carlsbury and ILRT Matter. 3 DNFs out of the rest. Deneen, Vaporon and Navy out on track. Hopefully Navy can give an explanation of what happened to him, because I can only assume it was tyre regulations for him.
It might have been, yeah. It's one of the two options, but yeah, all those penalties really shook up the order at the end. But yeah, Louis so dominant out front. That was more akin to the races that he had last week. Last week he was dominant and won both races, and he takes a clean sweep of wins in Esports Mini League.
Conti was saying, can we have a look at the penalties for the top 7? I'm sorry, I've just tuned back into the comments section. You can appreciate there was a lot of action out on track, and that's why we didn't get the chance to run through the penalties, but it will come up on the right-hand side of the screen very shortly indeed. Well, it's that man again. It's Brendan Louis for ILRT, who has taken a second win here tonight, and just credit, I think, to the ILRT team. They, I think, unofficially have won the championship, as my turn off in 60 seconds pop-up comes up on my TV just in time as well, and I get XP as well, but not as much as what I would have hoped. Terrible. Coldmasters thought I did an average but fair job, I think, there. ILRT Louis taking the win. 6 seconds worth of penalties. He took the win nonetheless. Ginger finishing in second, Campbell in third. Thomas, remember, he had that disconnect. That's why the penalties weren't showing up for him if he did pick up any. Calzo in fifth, Janel in sixth. They were quite close towards the end of the race, with Calzo dropping down as a result of 11 seconds worth of penalties. Hugo, Yordi, Toxic, Dropye, Terror Racer, good job, no penalties. Cohen, Verstappen, Ghost, Kaz, Carlsbury, Mata were the finishers. Deneen, Vaporon and Navy having that disqualification late on out on track. Unfortunate for the TTG team, and well, that is it for tonight. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez likes to provide the action out on track, and of course, if you have enjoyed the stream, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell. Don't you've got nothing else to do. Why don't you?
Absolutely, why not? And watch this stream back, and
of course,
try and pick up on even more details and enjoy the races even more. So yeah, really good races tonight. Great stuff.
Just having a look at some of the comments coming in, mainly about the penalties. Again, we appreciate that there's a lot of action happening out on track. Us two can only keep up with so much, you know, unless you want to hire a Tech Rabbits for us. Kivio Nico saying Vamos Campbell. Campbell drove a very good race there as well for the KVR team. And Mini League 1 on a whole, what's your rating out of 10? Because you've seen last week and this week. What's your rating out of 10?
I think I got to give that like a 9 out of 10. I'd say that was really, really good. Really good racing, really good fun to watch, great fun to commentate over as well. Just the last night on some of the teams as well. Unfortunately, TTG weren't really able to make up for what they lost. And Silverstone had a pretty poor showing. Toxic was at the front of the field, but obviously the number of penalties he picked up dropped him way down. And like I said, ILRT, I think, pretty dominant from them across all 4 races that we've had in Mini League 1. They looked pretty in control, so hats off to them. Really, really good stuff.
Fantastic action out on track, and if you do want to find out the points, the official points for the Mini League, for both Mini Leagues, you can follow the league on Twitter. That is at Esports Mini, capital E, Sports and then Mini, but I think it is a capital M as well. And of course, if you do want to follow myself and Aidan, I don't know why you would try and think of doing that, but if you've enjoyed the commentary, you can also follow the Commons team on there as well. At B52Head is my Twitter, and Aidan, I think it's at Aidan Carter 5 if I'm not mistaken. Your
That's
Twitter.
Correct, yes. Yeah,
Got it right.
My Twitter is it's at Aidan Carter 5, AODAN. A number of people spell my name wrong, but that's how you spell it. So yeah, that's where you'll find me.
You'll be able to find us through the league accounts, I'm sure, as well, because they retweet stuff out as well through that. But what a treat I think we've had out on track. Of course, as we approach, we are in this lockdown phase, of course, out on in real life. It just bears in mind that I think we have this escape from reality where the drivers out on track provide you guys with the motorsport in action that you guys deserve out on track. Full credit to all 9 teams, I should say, for competing in this season's Mini League. And a big thank you to everyone that has run it. Maze, of course, the big chief, the chief man in charge of the Mini League, as I'm going to call him, the head man. I'm going to say about him. And of course, thank you to all of the commentators as well. To myself, of course, I have to thank myself. Aidan, thank you very much for joining me tonight as well. And of course to Kieran, who wasn't here tonight. Kieran McGinley, of course, going to be hopefully taking you through tomorrow night for TTL F1. So if you've been inspired by our commentary and you've been inspired by the driving out on track, why not sign up for the next mini league? I don't have a clue when it's going to be. Follow the Twitter though, at Esports Mini, for all the latest updates. And that is not an April Fool's prank at all. Had to get that in. Had to get that in. But of course,
a number of those. Sent a number of those today, I think. Been fooling me all day. I can't be fooled again.
Definitely not going to be fooled. I think we got fooled by the great action out on track, and honestly, a real credit to everyone out on track for putting it on, and well done to ILRT Louis for winning both races, and I think well done to ILRT as well for winning the whole thing for Mini League 1. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in to Esports Mini League 1. I've been James Head. He has been Aidan Carter. Please take care of yourselves. Please stay indoors. Please save lives. And please protect your health service, whatever country you are in. And that, I think, is a message that we can all echo. Thank you on that note for watching. And until next time, it'll be tomorrow for TTL F1. Goodbye.